So a lot of my videos, I often talk about what is working for me in business, thought processes, ideas, strategies. So I figured today we flip that on its head and we talk about things that aren't working for me in business. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys 5 of my biggest failures because I believe you guys can learn just as much from my mistakes as you guys can from my success. So the first mistake that I think I've made is jumping into business a little bit too early. So it kind of worked out for me, yes, but I think in the long term, jumping right in and not really taking a break or traveling or doing all these things actually will hurt me in the long run even more. So if I was to look back, if I was to do it again, I would actually take 6 months to a year to just go travel in Europe and do all these different things and just really figure out what I want to do, right? Because when you start a business, not that you lock yourself into that, but once you start, number one, it's tough to take a break, but picking what business you guys actually pursue and what you pursue is one of the biggest and most important decisions that you guys make. And that's a decision that I don't think I took enough thought to, and I don't think I spent enough time really pondering on what it is that I really want. What do I want my life to look like? And what business and idea do I really want to pursue? Now, luckily, it kind of worked out for me, but I think for most people, especially if you're not going to college or you're only going for a few years, taking a hiatus to travel, to go do different things, to try a bunch of different stuff and really figure out what you guys want is one of the smartest things that you guys can do. I think being able to travel and just try a bunch of different things will allow you to start your business with a much different perspective than if you just jump right out of college and get right into it, or if right after high school you guys hit the ground running and just start working. Now again, for a lot of people, you kind of know what you want, but a lot of people don't know what they want, and a lot of people kind of go through college trying to figure out what they want. But again, if you're not really feeling that route, I think honestly, backpacking around Europe or going to do something that you've always wanted to do is a very, very smart idea. Number one, life is obviously short, but it's going to give you a whole new perspective on life and what you guys really want to pursue in the long run. Number 2 was not getting on YouTube or TikTok early enough. So I think for me, one of the biggest things that I'm trying to build now is build my online presence and build the online portion of my business. Now, doing YouTube and jumping onto TikTok is something that I always wanted to do. I just didn't really do it. Now with YouTube, I just was kind of scared of what people would think. I didn't really think I was at the right point to go ahead and do it. And this was something that I thought about for a year to 2 years and just didn't do it. Same thing with TikTok. I knew I should have been on it, but number one, I just didn't really know what's the importance of it. How easy is it to grow? The importance of being able to build a presence on there. And these are both things that I jumped on a little bit too late. And I think one thing that a lot of successful people do is when new opportunities present themselves, they really look into it, they research, and they really ponder, is this something that I should pursue? Because if you can get onto things early, that's where you guys will see a lot of success. So for me, I'm big, especially now, on if there's something you want to do, just go ahead and do it. You're not going to be ready at the time that you do it, but you'll figure it out as you go. Now, the earlier you can start on content, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, the more practice you're going to get, the more time you have to actually build that following in the long run. Now, anything that you start, whether it's business, whether it's content, you're not going to be good at first anyways. So you might as well start and get that part out of the way, because if you start when you're ready, it's already too late, because now you have to go through that whole practice, the repetition, adjust, and then build, and by then it's already too late. Number 3, which somewhat ties into point number 1, is not getting out and connecting and learning from more professionals in the field as much as I did. Now, this is something that I was big on when I started and something that I'm still trying to do to this day, but one of the biggest things that I talk about in other videos is learning from real teachers. Real teachers are people that do what you do, are in the position that you want to get to, and learning directly from those people. So this is something that I did personally. I spent my own money, traveled out to LA, did an internship with Drew Hanlon, tried to connect with a couple different people, but then I came back and I just started full head of steam in my business. And I don't think that I leverage building those relationships with other people and really getting out there traveling and meeting the right people enough, as much as I should have. And now as I'm starting to go down the road, I'm really realizing how important relationships are and knowing the right people and how those can be leveraged down the road, right? When you have genuine relationships with a lot of different people and you connect with certain people in the field, that's going to help you in so many different ways. It's something I did a little bit in the beginning, but not something that I did enough. Now I'm kind of trying to make up for it and continue to, even in the position that I'm in, reaching out to extremely smart people in the field like Tim Martin and Josh Fan. I'm trying to continue to build that relationship and learn from them, because honestly, they're professionals and they're in a position that I want to be in down the road. So I'm constantly trying to learn from people at the top of this field and continue to get better and build my knowledge. So kind of connecting it to that first point, don't be too focused on money. Now, this is something that I'm say sometimes a little too focused on, and I let it kind of get in the way of meeting more people and spending money to meet these people and to build these relationships. And I think it really would have helped me down the road and will continue to help me down the road if I can continue to build those relationships and get out and meet the right people. Point number 4, which is something that I've definitely been trying to work on and get better at, is thinking that doing more equals more productivity. And those two are definitely not correlated. And this is something that took me a little while to realize. But the more and more I realize it, the more and more I realize I just need to keep it simple and do what works, right? With most businesses, 95% of businesses, there's already people doing it, and there's already people that are doing it really, really well. And you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to go and do it completely different. Do what's working and then kind of throw your own spin or idea on it, right? There's certain principles that work. There's certain things within that business that work. They may be very simple, but that's what works, right? And just do it and don't get bored with the basics. That's something that I feel like, for me especially, I feel more productive when I'm doing something. And this is something that it's taken me a long time to really get better at, and realizing that just because I'm working doesn't mean I'm actually moving the needle forward, and making sure I'm working on the right stuff as opposed to always trying to do more and more. So for me, this is kind of just a reinforcement of don't try to reinvent the wheel, do the simple stuff, and don't get bored with the basics, right? Those are extremely important. The more that I learn about business, about successful people, that's exactly what they did. They had a simple business model and they kept hammering away at the exact same thing, doing the simple stuff and not getting bored with the basics. And that's what scales, and that's what can make you more money. Once you really start to build something big, okay, now we can maybe add more products, we can add more services and kind of complicate things a little bit more. Now, last point number 5, was trying to do everything myself for too long and not really focusing on building the team a little bit earlier on. Now, I think for myself, I was hesitant to hire other people, especially trainers, because I didn't want to water down the product that I was delivering. Now, I think that was smart, but at the same time, I think I could have had more people join the team a little bit earlier on and start to build up more and more trainers underneath me. And that's just something that I'm currently still lacking in my business. And I think just overall was just for years just trying to do everything myself and took pride in it, even though it was not the smartest thing to do. So oftentimes I think this is another place where ego gets involved with a lot of people. They want to feel like they're doing everything. Again, the more work that they do, they feel like they're more productive, they're busier, so they feel good because they're getting stuff done. But again, does that really move the needle forward? And oftentimes the people that you have around you, the team that you have around you, will dictate your success a lot more than you really think it will. I can't be the best trainer in the world, the best person at advertising, the best person at creating content. It's just simply not going to happen, right? So sometimes you need to outsource different things to buy back your time, to give yourself more time to come up with ideas and be even better at what you're already good at. Get as many people involved. Don't always ask, how can I get this done? Ask, who can help me get this done? And that's something I'm still trying to work on, getting more people involved and asking for help more often, because again, that's something that I made a mistake on early, and I'm trying not to continue to make the same mistake over and over again. So with that said, those are my 5 points. I think if you guys can take these mistakes and learn from them, right? Maybe you only take one, maybe only one relates to you, maybe all 5 do, but really kind of pay attention, look at your own life wherever you guys are at. Maybe you're in high school, maybe you guys are still a player, maybe you're 10 years down the road in your business, and hopefully you guys can take something and learn from this. So if you did, let me know what your favorite point or mistake was that you guys are going to take and utilize down the road. Would really appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. With that said, see you in another video soon. Peace.